This is Jackie.
And this is Heather.
And welcome to
Millennial Mom Chatter, your go-to podcast for candid conversations and fresh perspectives.
We're just two millennial moms navigating life one hilarious audio message at a time. Join us for laughs, adventures, and real talk. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Millennial Mom Chatter. We're excited to be back with you guys. And again, we have another special treat for you guys. We have another special guest. We have my dearest friend, Jaci. I know her from way back in the day when our families were stationed in Australia together. Our hubbies worked together, so our families just meshed and vibed because we've got kiddos that got to play together. So we're excited to have you, Jaci. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, thanks for inviting me. I'm excited.
Welcome. Yeah. She's another millennial mom in the house.
I know. I know. She is on our 75 soft group.
Yeah.
And she always texts us and says she loves our podcast. So we're like, well, come on.
Yeah.
So welcome.
Cool. My first podcast. I'm so excited.
Yay. We get to pop it. Woo. So tell us a little bit about yourself, Jaci. Like kiddos, hubby, all the things.
There's a lot of them. I'm married to my husband. We've been married, just made 11 years at the end of January. And he's active duty. And so we are in the Air Force and we go all over the place. We met Jackie a few years ago in Australia. And my older two are the same age as yours. And then I have two younger kids. So I've got 9, almost 7 next week, 4 and 2. So there's a lot going on here all the time. Wow. And I homeschool the older two, which means a lot of, hey, little two, quit interrupting everything. So it's just a lot of chaos, but it's really fun. And we have a good time. I don't know. That's pretty much what we do is we homeschool and we go to the playground.
But you have chickens. You got the little chickies too.
And they finally started laying eggs again. So we have like 2 dozen eggs on the counter finally. So we might be like the richest people in America right now with eggs.
Yeah, for real. You could trade them for anything you want right now. Like new TV, like what do you want? Like,
I'm ready. Let's go. Who's got something to sell?
We're struggling over here. We had to buy non-organic.
No.
It's tough.
And it's so sad because we owned chickens. So
really?
We ended up giving them to a friend when we built our pool. And my husband was like, do we really want to bring them back? Because we are building like in-laws quarters for my grandma. And so it's like less grass then. And so I'm just like, we just kind of kept them there. But now I'm like, we need to have our chickens back.
Yeah.
You guys made a sacrifice.
I'm sad because we have to sell ours. We're moving in the summer. And so we knew it was temporary when we started. So we're just getting the most out of it as we can. I'm just kind of waiting to like spring to rack up as many eggs as I can. And then maybe someone pay me top dollar for them in this egg
for
account.
Sure. Yeah.
Am I allowed to ask, do you know where you're moving?
I do. We're moving to Hawaii. So.
Oh, I was going to be like, maybe you could take the chickens.
Yeah. No.
Not for this one, yeah.
Yeah, we thought about it if it were like in the States, but can you imagine we would like just 11 chickens on an airplane? Like, don't worry, guys. They're contained.
Yeah. You hear down below like, Rah!
Yeah, it would be crazy. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, Hawaii, that's fun.
Yeah, we're excited.
Are you excited? Was that like top of your list?
It was. We just didn't expect to get it. So I feel bad. We were prepping our family for a move to Virginia because we were prepped for a move for Virginia. And then it kind of just took a turn and we're not sad about it. I mean, it's going to be sad to be away from family for like so far away, but we're hoping, we've done a long overseas assignment before. So we're hoping it's a little closer. Maybe the world won't shut down halfway through our tour this time and more people can visit us. So we're hopeful for that. But yeah, the kids are a little older. We're going to be like able to remember more. It's really exciting.
It'll be fun.
Yeah.
They got to be like little surfers.
Yeah. The boys are
living their best life.
Get a little tan.
Yeah.
Become surfers. Yeah. For those of you that don't know, Jackie was stationed overseas with Jackie. Yeah. Before COVID hit, Jackie got out. Our Jackie, regular Jackie. And then Jackie was stuck there during COVID. And that must have just been hell.
Well, actually, thank God, we were where we were. The other parts of Australia were struggling hard, but we were in a really sweet spot that we just kind of pretended nothing was going on. We were stuck in our little bubble and we didn't, I think the first like mask mandate or anything like government official for where we lived came the month before I left, which was in June of 2021. So we had gone a whole,
oh wow, that's good.
We left in July. And so I was like, okay, time to go.
But you were like stuck in your bubble.
Yeah, and we were they locked the state borders because they can do that. And so my husband and I, we had planned this whole like road trip through the state we lived in up to the neighboring state in 2019. We're like, great, we've knocked that off. Now next year we'll go do the other states, and we'll go to Tasmania, and we'll go to New Zealand, and none of that happened because we got locked in. But we were able to do a little traveling like locally, and it was definitely not like what some other people even in Australia had experienced. So I'm thankful for that, because I don't really like to be told what to do by the government. I could just see that going poorly for our family.
Me either. I'm the same way. I pretty much never wore a mask, and I just didn't care. Like I didn't care what people told me. I was like, no, you cannot force me to. They would stop you like on the side of the road, like outside, and you're like, I'm outside.
Yeah. I wish.
What's the problem? Flying, I think we were one of the only ones. We flew during COVID. I think we did wear a mask because I was like, I'm not ready to fight anybody right now.
Yeah.
And we're doing like a 5-hour flight to Utah, but I didn't force my kids to wear them. And I was like, gonna go down if they made, because my daughter at the time was like, what, a year and a half too? So I'm like, no.
Yeah.
No,
yeah,
you can't expect a little kid to keep it on for 5 hours like this.
No, it was kind of crazy because in Australia it was any kid 12 and up. And so in America it was 2 and up. So, my kids wouldn't have even had to do that if it were mandated in the state we were living in. And then when we moved, that was my biggest anxiety moving, is that I didn't want them to have to do that. And I was like, maybe if we leave on an Australian airplane, the long flight will be considered Australia. And no, Delta took over at the airport, and they're like, and do we all have masks? And I was like, yeah, do we have to wear those?
I didn't even think about what that looked like.
Yeah, I mean, our flight was practically empty. We were every single one of us so we had 3 kids at the time. We all had our own row to lay down and sleep. It was crazy. But one flight attendant, she was like, just eat snacks, turn your head, don't put
be busy.
She was ignore the other 2. I've got you. And I was like, oh, okay, tsk you. Because I was like you. I'm like, I will fight you about this. Because
especially kids, it's one thing for an adult just to be like, fine, whatever. Let's get, I don't want to delay this flight. I'll put this thing on. But the kid, it doesn't make any sense for the littles. So. And
I'm kind of crazy anyway. It's not this is the hill I'm going to die on. It's all of the hills I'm going to die on. People are always like, oh, well, if you don't do this and you don't do that, I better never see you eat this, and I better never see you. And I'm like, okay, that's fine with me. I'll take all that out of my house. That's my plan anyway,
all the hills.
So willing to go down about this, and people that's fine.
Yeah. So you're a fellow crunchy like me.
Yeah, probably. Probably further than I should be.
That's why I'm like, I have non-organic eggs in my house, but it's okay. This is how we have to live right now. Current times.
If you some, I would, but I bet they don't.
I was going to say, yeah. Ship me some. I need to go back.
You need to find a dealer. You don't have a dealer?
No, I need to go back to the guy that has my chickens and
okay. Yeah. Because right now I got a dealer. And so it's funny because we just shoot texts and we're like, all right, Venmo. All right,
you got my dealer?
Yeah, I have a dealer, and it's nice. And I'm just like, oh, we don't even have to worry about this crisis because I have a hookup.
I love. She's like, it's nice.
Yeah, it's a nice time right now.
Are you sure you're not getting something else from it? Something spicy?
No, nothing funny.
Dang, I technically do have a hookup, but I haven't utilized it yet.
Yeah,
I gave our chickens for free to him, so I should get. I have never asked for eggs, so.
Yeah, ours weren't laying until 2 weeks ago. They took a big break, so
for the winter.
Oh, they took a break,
and it was cold. So
and it's the sun. It's when the sun goes away. They need more sunlight to ovulate. So I've learned so much here. But apparently, the longer the days, that's when it starts. And so they finally, my last holdout, just laid her first egg yesterday for the first time since November or December. No, it was October.
Wow.
So we've had a very long.
So I wonder if your chickens would live longer than mine, because mine just work constantly because we don't have winter.
Different breeds also will do that too. So maybe some people do that. All these people we're buying from the store, they give them supplemental light so that they lay all year. I just kind of didn't want to force them.
Yeah.
I'm not trying. I'm like you said, crunchy. I'm like, okay, whatever your body needs.
Yeah. It's for the chickens funny. Too. It continues down for them.
And my husband's coming home. He's like, where are our eggs? Are they laying yet? What can you do? I'm like, I can't do anything. The answer to it.
Yeah.
This is nature.
So we're rejoicing.
Yeah. When I had chickens, I was buying the more expensive feed, obviously, because I'm like, it defeats the purpose if I buy cheap feed, because then I could have just bought eggs from the store.
Yeah.
And people are like, why do you spend so much? And I'm like, because like that's the reason why I have eggs is for them to be the healthiest they can be and not get all the crap that they get from, you know, like factories and stuff like that. So it was a journey. We loved it. We had them for, I want to say 4 or 5 years. 4?
Wow.
That's a good amount of time.
Yeah.
4 years maybe? I don't remember. I think 4 years. So we had fun with them. They were good. We had Buff Orpingtons. They were the pretty yellow ones.
Yeah. We have one of those.
And they were like fluffy and they are all
comes up
fat.
to our porch. Like she comes up to my daughter and walks up to her and waits for her to pick her up. She's like a little pet. It's so funny.
They're the best ones to get for like wanting to interact with like humans. They're like they're very chill.
Yeah, they are.
Out of all the breeds. So that's the ones we picked. So anyways, that was fun. We were like, I told Jackie, I was like, it's fine. We're going to spiral anyways.
Yeah. This is just going to be a homesteading podcast now. Like, join us for all the tips. Like,
I do all the
Okay. So we do have a question, though.
Oh,
okay. So what do you feel, since you're a fellow mom, what do you feel about participation trophies?
Oh, please stop. Like, I wish my husband could have had that question. The way that he would go on for 4 hours about how much he hates them would just take the whole podcast. They're just pointless.
Yeah.
I just like I have my oldest son, so my second child. He's very like tall, athletic, like large for his age. He's taller than my 9-year-old, and he's not even 7 yet. Like he's just, everyone thinks he's older than he is. So with that, he's very sometimes uncoordinated, but pretty decent at his sport. And he plays soccer like really well. And every year I feel like really terrible for wishing that they would just lose because I just need him to be a better loser and like a better sport. And so I just, to me, that kind of goes hand in hand. I can't have, first of all, I don't need 4,000 participation trophies floating around my house. Secondly, like, let's just teach some kids how to be good sports. And I just feel like that does
how to lose
the job. Yeah. I want them to lose.
Yeah.
That's how you build resilience.
For sure.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. I agree with you. So even though my kid was young at the time, Jax was in soccer. I want to say he was like 4 or 5. And they were giving out the participation trophies at the end of the season. And I literally was like, no, you can't get one. Like, you literally did terrible today. Like, no. I was like, I refuse to give you a participation trophy. I mean, I know he was little. So, but Alvaro was like, come on, just let me. And I'm like, why? And he's like, no, he's just so little. And I'm like, no, we're already starting a bad habit. That's why, I don't know if you heard our last podcast. It's not our last, a couple ago, is that Jax didn't make the basketball team.
Oh, no,
and I was like, it was kind of nice because it's like, okay, you don't always win. But at the same time, I felt bad. It was like I only felt bad because it was only him.
I agree with that. Like, I feel like it would have felt better if there was more kids that were like also not selected.
Yeah,
so
like,
I feel like now I'm just like, you don't pick on him like that. Let him be the towel boy. Come on. Like,
I know, that's what I thought, because like not a ton of people tried out, so there was only like one extra, and so he was the one that didn't get it.
Yeah.
No,
and so it's kind of like,
it
was kind of one of those things. I was like, oh, and I kept telling myself, I told Jack, I'm like, don't be a participation trophy mom. Like, it's okay. He didn't make it, and he didn't make it. That's it.
It's still it's a mom, it's a mother thing. Like, it just hurts in our heart.
Is he like
you
motivated though? Is that like a motivation for him to try again next year? Or is he like, cool, I'm done? Because my daughter would be like, cool, I'm never doing it again.
Yeah, basically Jackson's like, no, I don't plan on trying again. I'm like, no, you should try again. And he's like, nah. And I'm like, okay, because I don't think that was like the first time he tried out for a sport. So I think it was just like, I don't know. There was no like, oh, I've made it before, or so he was just like, I'm done.
Yeah.
We'll see. I'm gonna try to convince him next year to try out.
Yeah, for sure. Especially because he's the younger age for the tryouts, so he's got like room like to make it.
Yeah,
next
it's
year.
4th to 6th grade, and he's in 4th grade.
Okay.
So like, of course, the 6th and 5th graders did better.
Of course. Yeah.
So it is what it is. I'm like, it's fine. Next year, you'll probably still not be good, but it's okay. We'll try it again. He has height against him. He's my clumsy one. He's like the one that like trips over air, you know?
Yeah.
Wouldn't you say, Jackie? Like, he's literally the one that's
but everyone has their strong suits, so he's gonna grow up and get more athletic. Like,
Jackie coming in with a positive reinforcement.
Yeah.
It's okay, Jackie. He's not listening to this. Yeah. She's like, just in case he's listening.
Yeah. Don't want him to think I'm talking crap about him behind his back.
No, she has a soft spot for Jax. That's her. I mean, you have
because he's such a
spot for all the kids.
sweetie. Yeah,
Yeah,
like
he
he's
is.
just one of those kids where I'm just like, he can't do any wrong. So that's why I'm just like, what do you mean he didn't make the team? Like, what did they not like about him?
And she
Like
knows
taking
all the
it
teachers.
personally. Yeah.
So she's like, who did it? Who did it?
Who am I? Whose tires am I slashing? Like,
No, that's nice. That's what we like about, like, it's nice when you have close friends that are like ready to go down with you.
Yeah.
You know?
yeah.
It's always fun. But I just think that overall we're just creating like a very soft generation.
Yeah.
I mean, I hope that we've talked about this before, but I think that Gen X, I guess it is, they're Gen Z kids right now. They did a terrible job and made them really soft. So now I hope that millennials can come in and we can like recover. Can we recover it?
I think
Do you
so.
think?
Yeah.
I feel like
She's
it's
like-
a 50-50 chance, dude. Have you been on the internet lately? I mean, I think
know.
there's a lot of people that, would agree, but then I just think there's also a whole group out there that are like, no, let's just give them everything they want. It's okay. It needs to be really easy for you because I love you. And I think I love you. And that means you need to learn that life is not fair. And also, like, I don't know, I'm a Christian, so I believe the Bible is my guide for how I should parent, and there's no gentle parenting happening in the Bible. So, like, if we want to go there, like, that's a whole thing that you can look there. For me personally, that's where I'm going to look to find my guideline, and it's not, okay, well, we'll try again later. Here's a little slap on the wrist. Or not a slap on the wrist. We can't do that, No little pat and tell you you're fine. Like, it's just... Not to say
100%.
Not to say that anything that the generation before me did was like perfect, but I do think there's a balance and like hopefully the millennials, we can come in and fix it. But I just see a lot of, oh my gosh, every time I'm in public or on the internet, that makes me wonder. Just
I know.
not exactly
for sure.
convinced.
I think if we do improve, it won't be fully, obviously, but I think we can improve a little bit. I think that I'm seeing less phones on younger people.
Okay.
I feel like, and then I just feel like they're seeing the current generation and like, my kids cannot end up like that.
Yeah, like the current little kids and teenagers now, I think a lot of people are recognized, like teachers and parents, and they're like, oh crap, like we made a mistake. And so now they're like reeling it back. But we get to learn from that because we have the younger kids. So we get to then like take that as a lesson and apply it to our own children, like with the phones, social media, all that kind of stuff. So now we're not handing mobile devices to our littles because we see what it's doing to the 14-year-olds. So I'm like, yes, we're winning.
Yeah, and schools, a lot of schools are taking action of like refusing to allow phones. Like there's certain high schools, I forget what state, banned phones during school.
Oh, really?
Like even in high school, like they cannot have them. So I feel like they're kind of recognizing. So I'm hoping there's always going to be some that slip through the cracks.
When we were in school, that was the rule. Like, weren't you supposed to have a phone in class? But
No,
that was
we
when
couldn't.
phones started being a thing while we were in middle school, high school. So
I was going to say also, a lot of people didn't also have phones. in high
Yeah.
school
But
either.
even when we did, your phone had to be on silent or left in your locker or your car. So if that went off during class, you were going to be in trouble and it was going to be taken away and your parents would have to come and go get it for you. So that we didn't like play around with it. Like we weren't sitting there all day with our
we
devices.
didn't have internet.
Well, yeah, so that's
Oh my
true.
God.
God forbid the internet like attached and you're like, no, my mom's going to kill me.
And it like
charge
loads so
$1.50.
slowly. Yeah.
Well, I was just at my parents last week and I was telling my dad, do you remember like when we first got texting and I had a cell phone and it was like they set you up for failure. We had AT&T and they're like first month unlimited. And then it's like 250 text messages a month after that. But that first month you're just texting everyone. And then you find out it's incoming and outgoing. So you get charged for every response. And it was just like, oh my gosh. I remember having to pay that bill once and I just was like, can you just take this off my phone? I don't know what I have to pay for this.
It's too scary,
and
too
you
risky.
can't stop your friends from texting
No,
you
I would
either.
always be like,
Hey.
don't text me like just a hey. Like text me the whole paragraph, use all the characters because I don't have enough text for that. Like I
Jackie
can't do the
would
back
say
and
that
forth.
to her
Yeah, like you need to ask me, what are you going to ask me? Ask me that already in like one whole paragraph in the
Can
first
you write your
text.
whole story?
Yeah.
And then
in the little like 70 characters that were allotted and that's it. Like,
Yeah.
Or only call me after 9. Yeah. Like,
I was gonna say that I had T-Mobile and we had the Fave 5.
oh, that I remember that.
So I would always, and it was dumb. I mean, maybe I'm remembering it wrong, but I feel like you could change your Fave 5 whenever. So it was like if you happened to be talking to like somebody a lot that day, it's like, okay, let me just change them. Like I had the Fave 5, so that's what saved me.
Nice.
But I didn't get a phone until I was like almost 17.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm
Like,
a little older, so we didn't get phones. Like mine was a prepaid Virgin Mobile phone because it didn't
my brother
exist
had a
to have
prepaid
like
phone.
a contracted device
Yeah.
yet. Like, so we all
Yeah.
were like, I'm gonna go buy a Virgin Mobile card after school, and that was like all that I relied on for texting.
That's what
and
my
calling.
brother had. But I just didn't, I was literally in college because I graduated early and I didn't have, like, I would have to ask somebody, like, can I borrow your phone so I
Yeah.
can call my mom and tell her to pick me up? Like, I didn't have a phone.
Yeah.
So my mom just left me in the dust.
Not even an emergency device.
I know, but my brother, when he was like 15, got the prepaid phone in case of emergencies, but not me. So it's fine.
It's not bitter or anything.
Everyone had phones at that point, I guess. I feel like in college. So I was just like, can I use your phone? And everyone's like, sure. Because I was like the young 16-year-old in college.
Yeah.
So I was just very awkward. Can I use your phone, please? Very intimidating, by the way. But yeah, I hope for the best. I really do. I want my kids to like be normal.
Yeah.
God willing.
We just want normal. Like,
And it's just, I don't want to make, like, I don't want it to be a bubble. But at the same time, like, I also don't want to expose them to that stuff. So I'm like really in the, like, I'm not a helicopter parent in the sense I'm not one like, oh my gosh, don't jump on that. Or like, that's not me at all. Like I will literally be like, okay, bust your head. Like
you're going to learn today.
You, exactly. I've told you no twice. So it is what it is. But I don't want to expose them to all that stuff. So I'm so torn. Albert's like, you can't like bubble them forever. I'm like, I know, but like until they're like 16, 17, I feel like they're so impressionable.
Yeah.
And if you can like bubble them until then, and not bubble them literally for everything, but just like not have constantly cursing around them and like, you know, poor influence and stuff like that. I feel like you can kind of set them up for success.
Well, yeah.
I survived.
Yeah.
I was
It's not
homeschooled.
bubbling. You were?
I was homeschooled and then thrown right into college at 16. And I survived. I'm fine. I'm you know, I function. I wasn't like, oh my gosh, like no.
She makes
I can't
real
see
friends
that.
with people outside of the homeschool community, like Jackie.
Yeah.
Look.
Yeah, she's not a homeschool jungle freak like Mean
Yeah.
Girls. Like,
Yeah, everyone's like, are you going to homeschool your kids? I'm like, no. But that's because we have a very good school here. And so if we did not have that school, then I may homeschool.
Yeah.
But we are blessed to have that school. And thank you, Puppy DeSantis, gives us free private school.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I had
in all
no
the state of
idea.
Florida.
Good for
Yes.
you.
So thank you, Jesus, for that. So we paid for quite a few years of private school, and then he came in with that, and I was like,
Nice.
so we have a good school, and it's free. So I'm like,
Yeah.
take advantage for sure.
Yeah.
and it's like 3 miles from me. You know,
My daughter
I know
went to
every
school
teacher.
for kindergarten. Same. It was
Yeah.
private school and it was paid for because we were in Australia and the DOD paid for it.
Oh, yeah.
Because you have to pay for public school there if you're not an Australian citizen. So I was like, okay, well, if you'll pay for
Oh.
private
It's very
school-
different. Yeah.
How does that work? Like how much is public school?
Well, some of the Christian schools, I don't know if Liam didn't start like kindergarten.
No, he
right?
was he just did preschool. So preschool, it was like very little. Like it was like a mommy's day out program. So very affordable and normal compared to what
Yeah.
we have in the US. So
Well, when I was looking at prices, that's why they covered the private school. So their private education is only Christian or Catholic. Like there's no just a private school that's not a religious type of affiliation. But the pricing was going to be the same for a non-resident for public
For
school,
public,
if
yeah.
not more than it would have been for the private school. So at that point, it was a no-brainer, especially because I was paying $0 for it.
yeah.
And they brought a little private, like they had a private bus. So you use the city buses to go to
Oh.
school there. But they had a little driver. He would text me and make sure that,
Oh,
you know,
that's so
they all
nice.
swing back by. It was really, like, it was the best. And so I could put her on the little bus and she sat down there and buckled her seatbelt and just went to kindergarten. And so it was great.
Oh, that's nice.
Did the first part of first grade too. But then, you know, we always knew it's going to be, it depends on where we live, you know, all of that. That, like, if we don't have the right school, then we'll just stay home. But we were coming back into 2021 America and I didn't know what to expect. And
Yeah.
I wasn't willing to make my kids a guinea pig for it. So we just decided to also, you know, she had already done half of the year of what she was going to start because they're on a calendar year there. So she'd already done the first half of first grade and her peers were beginning first grade. So we had a little bit of flexibility from an assignment like that, when you move, it takes like 4 or 5 months for your belongings to come. So instead of sending her to school with nothing, we just hung out at home and started at our own pace, and it's worked for us. It's challenging, but it's always an option that, if we need to, we'll reevaluate, but we like the flexibility. And my husband's going to be traveling a lot at this next assignment. And so our goal is to be able to join him for as much of that as we can. And that's a lot easier when you're not tied to a school schedule.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So that's like one of our benefits.
Wow. Is he going to be traveling within, you don't have to say where, but like within Hawaii?
No, it'll be more.
So you're going to have like long flights.
Yeah. But, I don't, Jackie, do you think this way? Like in my brain, I've always thought, okay, well, if we ever get an assignment to Hawaii, how good would that be? Because it's a 10-hour direct flight from Honolulu to Sydney. This is great. Yeah. I can see my friends. My friends can bring their kids to see me a lot easier than a 24-hour flight or whatever. So I'm like, okay, one flight for a long time is a lot more manageable than like 15 flights back and through the airport.
And you guys get to see a lot of the places that aren't accessible. Well, they're accessible, but very expensive. But from North America itself, trying to get over to like Asia or any of that stuff in the West Pac is so challenging. So I feel like you guys are going to be at a really good spot to be able to go see tons of cool stuff that
we're gonna have
you wouldn't typically be able to see.
Yeah. And then also, we've never lived in a base that has space A, so they'll have space availability there where we can try to hop flights. That's like where they'll have cargo jets just coming in and out, and they have.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. And so if there's space, it's not for the type A person ever. I've never done it. It's gonna be not. I'm not gonna say it's gonna be stressful. It's going to be challenging for some of my children. Will not appreciate the lack of information. Looking at you, oldest, but also like you just kind of have to sit and wait and hope that you get a seat.
I've cannot pre-book hotels.
No, but it's one of those things where it can work out really well. Like I have another military family friend where they do it with their kiddos and they're homeschooling as well. So they have that flexibility to just be like, okay, it's off-peak season. This is not going to be peak PCS time. So we actually have a chance of being bumped up on the priority list of getting a flight and all of us together. So like I feel like you guys are going to find yourselves in some like pretty cool situations for like scrolling through the list to see like what looks cool for the weekend. Like
dang, what you sit like very uncomfortably, I imagine.
They still have airplane seats, so it's like normal seats. It's just not going to be like your fancy Delta flight with like TVs or something. It's just
so you still have normal seats.
Yeah, it's like secondary.
Some of them you don't. Some of them you have like a little fold down.
I was going to say the fold downs.
But people will travel with like inflatable like pads, and you have the floor space as long as it's not full. So like you can just like camp out almost. You can.
And there's like a bathroom and stuff, so it's not like it's not. You're not cargo. Like it's still like temperature controlled.
You kind of are.
There's people who walk around like
you still go through like an airport type of like
You're
not just like you do have to climb up some weird things sometimes, but it'll be fine. It'll be.
It's gonna be ironic if you get like one of the worst ones first, like where it's like fold down seats. Your kids are gonna be like
we're never doing.
Where
that
are you
again.
taking us?
Like what is this? You said this was a vacation.
Can you imagine?
You said we're going to Tahiti in this.
Can you imagine me just doing that as much as I can so that I can afford to like leave them with grandparents and like, hey, AJ, let's go fly like business class somewhere. And just like, sorry, kids, you guys get this kind. We get the goods.
That'd be nice. That'd be nice.
No, that'll be a good one for Japan. That's definitely doable for Japan. Yeah, it's going to be nice because they have big planes too. So like the back and forth between Hawaii and Japan is going to be a major one.
How long is that
My friend
flight?
was at Okinawa. She said that they went once a week from Hickam
I believe it.
Medina.
That's how Tony saw me, was on a Space A from the States to Japan. So it's doable. Like,
dang, that's exciting. Yeah. I mean, it'll definitely be good to homeschool to be able to also, I'm sure private schools in Hawaii are like,
yeah, schooling in Hawaii is, it's like, you know how they have the ranking of schooling throughout the whole North America, like all the different states? Hawaii's not up there. It's not top for like people prioritizing education. Like it's fine. Like obviously people are like, there's military schools, like there's standards, it's 2025. Like, they're doing the best they can. It's just not, they're not the number one school in the U.S.
Yeah, it would have to be private. And I imagine private's a fortune.
Yeah. Well, everything there's a fortune. So I can't be affording that for
You're going to have to get a cow and some chickens.
Can you imagine? We've never lived on base, but that seems like the right option right now. Can you imagine me? And can I have cows and chickens here? Or is that like...
I was going to say, it's a fortune over there. Are you going to live on... You're thinking you're going to live on base?
Yeah, probably. It just makes the most sense. We have 4 kids. Like everything we've seen on Zillow for renting even is enough.
$2.2 million. And it's like a shock and you're like, what?
Yeah. And I hate to be like so American and be like, well, I need a little space, but these kids are loud. I feel real bad for our neighbors if we have no yard and a house, you know, a little bit of space. So
it's for sure. There's some that you see, you're like, okay, it's technically doable, all my kids in one room, but like that's not
like, do I want to live like that?
Ideal. Like, I want to live like that?
Yeah, and that's like if you have like 2 acres or something, but like if you don't even have a yard,
you're not getting that in Hawaii. Yeah.
Yeah.
The most yard we'll get is probably on base, and that's not even known for like a big yard. So,
but a lot of people, I think a lot of military families opt into base housing when they get orders to Hawaii. It's just much more doable and easy. And then it keeps life simple too, because then you know your house and your car and your belongings are safe so that you can go just focus on vacationing. Because that's what people do there. You're not worried about like, is my house cute? I live here for the house. Like, no, it's just a place to like pack my suitcase and rest my head at night. And then we're out of here. Like,
we'll focus on that like the next time we move, because the kid, my youngest will be, she'll be 2.5 when we leave for this one. So when we leave, she'll be 5.5, and that's like feels like almost to a spot in life where like if you're 5.5, then your brothers are even older, and maybe they stop destroying everything we own, and we can like, you know, not have handprints all over everything, broken. You know,
for sure, for sure. Did you live on base, Jackie, when you lived in Hawaii?
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Yeah, we did.
So you lived on base.
Yeah. It was just the easy thing to do.
Fortune.
Like,
so. Was that when you were single, or you didn't?
No, my parents. My dad was in the Army, so then we were stationed there. So I lived there when I was a kid.
Okay.
So I can say, as a kid, Hawaii is fun. Like, no responsibilities, going to the beach every weekend, doing all the fun Hawaii things, all the traveling, like for sure.
That's where Jackie got her tan from.
Yeah, this is
it. Just
Hawaiian.
Forever stayed. Yeah, like the sun developed in your DNA. Like you were like, I can get tan now, and then you're good to go.
No, it's just made me like who I am as a person, where I have to be near the ocean and the sun. Like I've just never. I'm not a cold person, so I just have to have ocean air.
And then she left
somewhere near me. Like,
I know you guys really did go. Like, did you go back to North Carolina after you left Australia, and then go?
I know we went to Virginia.
Virginia, so beach. No big deal.
Yeah, it's fine.
No, but you went in the winter, no, to Virginia?
No, we moved in we're a summer cycle, like move cycle. So I think we left. Yeah, so we usually get to places in the summer, except for Australia, because they're in the southern hemisphere, and that was winter time. So we were like, oh, surprise!
It doesn't actually get really that cold, though, right?
Where we lived, it's comparison to San Diego. So the climate is very mild, but it does get cold.
It gets cooler, but it's not like cold.
Yeah. So you still have like a jacket. Like there's rain season, so then you're still going to have a jacket when you're walking around outside, because that will feel like pretty dreary. And then there's places like not too far from us got snow where we lived. So it's a lot of people forget that, like, though it's the southern hemisphere, it's just North America flipped upside down. So it's kind of different.
Yeah, that makes sense. I still don't understand all the weather stuff. That I'm like, people that are still like in line with Miami, they get snow on like that side, and I'm like, why? Yeah. Why do we not? Why doesn't it get? I mean, it gets cold here. People think it doesn't get cold here at all. It does. It just is not like a consistent cold. We really hoped for snow, and we didn't.
Oh yeah, this past like winter with
Florida,
that crazy snowstorm that rolled through.
Florida got snow. Like I would say, like almost mid and up got snow, and we did not, and I was very sad. It's like, can we make it? Can we drive and go see the beach and all the snow? But we didn't. It was I was like, it's gonna melt before we get there. So it's okay. Well, that's exciting. I'm excited for you. Hawaii sounds like a dream spot.
Yeah, we're excited. I don't love winter, so my husband was like, I think I'm gonna miss the seasons, and I was like, well, go TTY, because I will not, and I will be on the if you need me. I'll be in the sun.
For sure. Or he can go up to, is it on Oahu? The big like volcano that gets snow on the top?
Oh yeah,
is that Maui
Haleakala has that. That's you. There's one on the Big Island and Maui. There's the big volcanoes.
Just send him up there.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. I'll be here in
the you want some seasons? Yeah, just you see up there the snow? Yeah, go there.
Bye. Take them with you.
Bye.
Stay here.
Yeah.
Okay. So we had you come up with a hot take.
Oh yeah.
Do you have one?
Yeah, what do you got for us, Jackie? Hit us.
I have a few, but I'm gonna go mild. Okay.
No, you can go. You can give us a few. Yeah, we're here for a few.
Well, I don't know how much of a hot take it'll be, because I feel like we keep agreeing on everything.
But other people don't.
Our listeners,
do you guys get comments? Like
sometimes we do. We get some
TikTok.
hate sometimes. Yeah.
TikTok. TikTok is
People
the breeding ground of hate.
Yeah, they feel
Well, I don't
really
see-
free to speak their mind on TikTok for some
Yeah,
reason.
I
But
don't
like
do that.
YouTube and Instagram, I feel like they're so gentle. Like they're not as there's not as much hate over there.
Our biggest hot take is the leash.
Yeah, leashing
Yeah.
children. That
Because
didn't go well.
We got a lot of hate on
people
that.
really
That
mad
was
that you thought that they couldn't
yes.
put their-
Everyone kept bringing out the like, but what about my autistic son and
Like
and we're
disabled
okay,
children and
we
like
understand,
multiple multiples and stuff, and we're like, we weren't talking about that.
we're just talking about like the regular like one parent with the one kid.
Yeah, like
Listen, everyone wants to be the exception to the rule, and they always want
Yes.
to be like, but what about
Yeah.
me? Okay, it's fine. Okay, I'll go real like quick and concise here. I have a theory. First of all, when you talk about conspiracy theories, I love them, and I don't think they're theories. And also,
Neither.
also, I think the ultimate conspiracy theory, that's not really a theory, is that as moms and parents, I feel like we're set up from the very beginning, from the minute we become pregnant, to depend on someone else to tell us how to do our job. They tell you when and cannot eat. They tell you to do, oh, don't touch that. Come here. Let me tell you everything about your pregnancy, whether it's normal. No. Don't listen to your body because the stats say this. You should be really fearful of this. You should ask me questions. Oh, trust me. I know everything. Don't listen to your intuition. And then you go to the hospital and you see all the, if you choose to go to the hospital, then it's like, okay, we're going to like treat you like the baby. And tell you, like, I remember I had my first daughter in hospital and I was told I couldn't walk my own baby down the hallway holding her. I had to put her in a bassinet. And I was like, why? And they're like, because you could fall. I'm like, she's my kid. Let that be my choice. But you see people like on the internet, they'll say, I can't believe they let us take this baby home. And I'm like, why are you giving all your ownership back? Because it's demanded. It's demanded. So then it's, I don't know. Do I need to call the doctor? What do I do here? And instead of just like teaching women and men too, but I'm talking to moms, to like listen to their own intuition, to learn their own child, to do what feels right to them. They're told, don't swaddle your baby. Don't put them down on their stomach. Don't put them in the bed with you. Don't do this. Feed them on this schedule, but don't listen to them if they're crying. Oh, if they're crying, they just need to learn how to soothe themselves. Just like it's one thing after another instead of, hey, do what feels best for you. And I think because of that, we have a generation of people now who outsource their parenting. They don't want to parent their child, but they just don't know what to do. And I feel like the people, the powers at be, are just setting us up to be dependent on them. And that is my hot take. And I'm sorry if you hate it, because I will stand by it till the day that I die.
No, that's a good one,
like
though.
it.
Yeah, because
like
that's it's a perspective that we can all think about. Because I even can think back to like when I had the boys, like it is like that. They really like hone in on that fear of like a new mom, and they like grab you, and you really, there's no way to get out of that. Like they hold on to that the entire, like you said, pregnancy, when you like bring your kid for their first pediatric appointment, like all of it is based off of fear, and like you can't step out of bounds here. Like this is the only way to do it. And it's like, it makes moms very fearful. Like the society today is very fearful of like, no, I have to like you said, outsource. Like there's no other option here. Like I can't use my own mind and instinct to raise my child. Like what? Like,
Yeah, I saw some, like, it's like they'll tell you, like, you can't, don't feed multiple foods at once because if they're allergic, whatever. And then they're like, here's 5 shots at one time. And you're like,
Ew.
yeah.
you're like, okay, so you want me to give them these 5 vaccines today, but like, God forbid I give carrots and like green beans together to introduce, you know, like, because what if they're allergic to one? Yeah, no.
But also
It's-
don't
I always-
question that, because you're not allowed to think for yourself, because I'm a professional and I know everything, and heaven forbid you want to ask any questions. That's really non-compliant. We can't have that. So
Yeah. Trust me, I am in the medical field and I understand that. It's very sad where the medical field's going. I was telling her, like, I've been on the hunt for a few doctors, and like it is a mission. It's a mission.
I mean, it's already hard to advocate for ourselves, right? Like you go and talk to just a general practitioner and they're going to want to try to slap a Band-Aid with some sort of prescription on you. And it's like, wait, but I want to get to the root cause of this issue and figure out what's going on. And they're like, no. It's fine. Numbers look great. You're within the range. This is fine.
Yeah.
Like dismissed. Like, bro.
And I'm lucky that I understand. Like when I go, I can think for myself because I am knowledgeable about the topic. Like even though I'll go see a doctor, I still know what they're talking about and be like, I'm not going to take the medication, or I'm not going to. But other people don't know that.
Yeah. Well, and they're told not to look into it because their Google degree can't be any better than my medical degree. But like,
they trust their doctors.
Like, have you continually educated yourself on anything, or did you get a degree and then move on to your practice? And so new information is always coming out. Science is never settled. And the whatever, like the boards, the people that are making all these, like ACOG and the Pediatric Association, that takes years to catch up to like current data.
Well, and it's science.
Yeah.
Yeah. For those of you that are only listening, quotations.
Air quotes.
Sometimes I do things on the video and I'm like,
we forget
no
that it's like no one, they don't know it. And we like stop talking too. So we're just like,
we'll do face like, and then you're like, wow, no one can hear that. I've been in it like before I was a nurse, I was a paramedic, and paramedic, like your number one thing is treat the patient, not the numbers. And the second you go on beyond that, you become a doctor, you become a nurse, anything, they're like, don't treat the numbers. I mean, they're like, only treat the numbers. You're not going to treat the patient. We don't care about that. We don't care what is regular for the patient or normal for the patient. This is what we have in our normal range, and it doesn't match yours. And I'm like, yeah, but if they're feeling fine at that number, then they're fine. Like, they're not in a like dire need right now. But once you go into the medical field, it's just like, they don't care about you as an individual person. They're like, does it match what my textbook says and what my numbers exactly say it needs to be, and this and that. And it's very irritating. That was a very hard transition, I think, going from a paramedic to a nurse was just, they don't care what's happening to the patient. They're just like, what's their paperwork say? What does their blood work say? What is like, and I'm like, no, but like, okay, they're a little off here, but like, they're fine. They're having no symptoms from it. So you leave them. And the nursing field doesn't see it that way.
Yeah, I think
it's very sad.
I think from people that I've spoken with, like that are nurses or have worked in hospitals that have like, you know, different, obviously it's different scenarios at different locations, but from what I gather, a lot of it is like, well, you know, there's a liability here and we have to keep up with hospital policy because policy keeps us from going to jail, and that's fine and all, but I am not on staff at the hospital, and so I don't have to follow any policy. So how about we talk and have a conversation where we like say, hey, I understand this is the best practice or recommended for the general populace, but let's talk about me. Like you said, like what about me as an individual? What works best for me? And like, can we not at least have a dialogue about it? And that's when you get hit with the like resistance as soon as you even ask a question. That's like the biggest red flag for me. And I'm like, I just cannot with that. Like, let's not act like it's just black and white. And that was going to be my other hot take. Life is not black and white. Politics is not black and white. Everything is not black and white. Life is nuanced. Quit doing the pro, anti, you versus them. Like, can we all just have a conversation, get off the internet, and like talk to one another?
I love that.
That's a good hot take because I'm the opposite. I think life is very black.
Oh, really?
I have a strong opinion on that too.
Let's hear it.
I'm referring to when I'm referring to black and white, like right and wrong.
Okay.
Like to me,
that's like an example.
To me, like life in that sense is like black and white. Okay. Like it is either wrong or right. I don't do the whole like, no, but what about this scenario? I'm like, okay, but is this act wrong? And they're like, yeah, but what about? I'm like, okay, then it's wrong. You don't like that it's wrong because it's not convenient or whatever, but it's still wrong, you know?
Yeah, I get that.
I've had this conversation with my husband. My husband's like, I think I've kind of not convinced him, but he's kind of like, yeah, I guess you're right. But like, he's very much like, no, there's gray. And I'm like, no, there's not gray. Like, the Bible doesn't have gray. Like, it's black and it's white. It's wrong or it's not. Would God do it? Yes or no? Like, there's either yes or no, right?
That's
But
how
I think, but like the example of like today's society with like politics and I know we could just jump into the rabbit hole of like gender, right? Like pronouns and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah,
like,
I guess that, but that's like an umbrella
like,
topic, not so much like an individual.
Yeah, but I just feel like what Jackie said, like get off the internet and like let's talk about this or let's 100%. Research this thoroughly with proper sources.
Yeah,
and not have this like wishy-washy. Like this is what I think. Like I think we have to have like real conversations, and it may not be as black and white between all of us with that.
Yeah. I think like the part that's like most disheartening on that is that, like you said, like we can have a conversation with one another, and I think you and I don't agree 100% on everything. We never will, but we understand 100%. Each other's intent, and like you know me as a person, I know you as a person. I know that you're not meaning ill will on me, and like if you think that this is the best choice for you and your family, awesome. But you're not like, hey, you should also do it because it's the best choice for me and my family, you know. And I feel like it just gets to this. I mean, I remember I don't post a lot of things on the internet, but if you know me, you know how I feel. And then anytime I do post something on the internet that's even slightly like, oh, not mainstream, because I don't subscribe to the mainstream ever, like I'll get a response or a comment from someone in my inbox. I'm like, okay, like if you and I were to have this conversation face to face, we could have a conversation where we could end it with, okay, I can see that you're not just like cruel. You don't hate anyone who's different from you. And that's why you're saying this. But people just want to go off the deep end and then cut it. Like, all right, that's the end, because this text message that has no, like, you can't take anyone's intent from words on a screen, you know, it's just, but I do feel like a lot of people are happy to just say, well, I'll just cut you off because you don't think like me, and clearly so you're a terrible person. And I'm like, what happened to like the 10 years we were friends prior to this? Come on, guys. Come on.
100%. That's when you realize they're not your real friend.
Because they were letting you, if they were willing to break up with you just over that, then it wasn't a solid friendship to begin with. Like,
like me and Jackie are close, but there's certain things that we disagree on, and like we're like, cool, like.
Because it doesn't change the way I feel about you. Like, as a person,
what does that matter?
Either of you.
Like you can believe in one thing and I can believe in one thing. And like, how does that affect our friendship? Like, and we chat about it, and no one offends each other. And we're like, this is why I believe what I believe. And then she's not offended. And she says why she believes what and I'm like,
cool.
Cool.
It's called being a grown-up. We're just demure and kind and respectful
you hear
grown-ups.
That TikTok? Like, don't come at us. Do you hear that?
Yeah.
People just need to have like normal conversations and not be so easily offended by things. Like, it's, you know, even going back to the hospital setting, like, yes, you have your policies and whatever, but you can also just have a normal conversation for the patient. And you can also advocate for your patient and go to the doctor and said, cool, if you want to give this med when I disagree, then you can give it. But I'm not going to give it. And that's fine. You bring up your concern to them, but a lot of nurses are just like, they just do whatever they're ordered. And they're like, oh, I'm not going to like say anything to the doctor. And I'm like, no. I had no problem going up to the doctor and be like, I asked for this 2 hours ago and you still haven't done it. Or like, you know, like you're not, because at the end of the day, people don't realize doctor messes up. Okay. Doctor writes an order, you know, you need to give amiodarone 5 milligrams. And then you go and do that and something happens to the patient, you get in trouble, not the doctor. People don't realize that because, oh, you were supposed to know. You have to know what you're giving, why you're giving it, is it appropriate dosing, and it's a lot, especially when you have like 5 or 6 patients on your load at the time. Oh yeah, it's a lot to be able to like. It's easy if you're like on a med surg floor and you have the same patients kind of all the time. Like, okay, they've been there 2 months, you kind of know all the meds they're on, all the stuff. When you're in the ER or somewhere else that you have like an inflow of patients all the time, it's a lot when you're having to like watch what your doctors are doing. And like make sure they're not writing weird orders or putting an extra 0 or it's we just need to get to a society that like we can speak up for ourselves and we can also have conversations even if we disagree with somebody
without having to worry about hurting someone's feelings. Like, because we're so worried about what people think of us, hurting people's feelings, because what we talked about too, this could be a whole nother spiral about like trying to be gentle. Like we're too easily offended. So like we feel like we have to communicate that way to like not offend every little person around us. Like, we're just like, ugh, can't we all just like be normal?
There's because of the podcast, I ended up going into like a momming group on Facebook. Oh my God. It's called Momming Unfiltered. Guys, that is like, it's like so drama filled. Like everyone is like, should I be mad about this? Like every post. And you're like the one I read this morning was like their 14-year-old daughter needed tampons, I guess. And the husband's like, I'll go, just tell me what I need to get. So she went and he couldn't find the right one. So he asked an employee, like a girl employee, was like, hey, is this like the right kind or whatever? And she's like, who is it for? And, oh, my daughter. And like, oh, how old is she? I guess thinking of size, like I'm not going to get her super or whatever. And he told her 14 and she was like, oh, she had a long talk with him. She shouldn't be putting tampons in at that age, blah, 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 going like down the rabbit hole. And so this mom wanted to go back to should I go back to the store and tell the manager and all that stuff? And I'm like, no, you just move on with your life. Like, why do you feel the need to go and like have a chat with it? Like, like just move on. Why are you so offended? Like let her have her opinion and then you move on.
And I think that even goes back to we're outsourcing everything. And and in that instance, just double down on how you parent your child. This is your family. This is your decision. Thank you for that information.
Yeah,
exactly. Also, can you answer the question? No? Okay, great.
Yeah, exactly.
Get on Google or do what you need to do and move on, because like for him to go home and tell her, I would have told him too, but like, okay, awesome. She's stupid. She probably doesn't even have kids. Like, what does it matter? Yeah. Like, this is my child. She doesn't know my child.
Exactly.
I don't have to take offense to what she says and she doesn't know. Like,
that's a good example of today.
All the time that I disagree with about the way that I parent my kids. I'm like, cool, you guys have fun living in the doctor's office, and I'm just gonna hang out here.
Thank you so much. Have a nice day.
Yeah, I agree. I people ask me all the time, like, would you take your kid for this? I'm like, no, unless my kid is like, there's no sickness really that I'm going to the doctor for. Like, unless it's if I really need to go for something, I'm probably going to the urgent care or hospital. Like, I'm not going to be going like to the doctor's office. Like, do you think he has the flu? I'm like, it doesn't matter if he has the flu. Just treat the symptoms. He's sick. Yeah. That's it. Like, it doesn't matter if he has COVID, the flu, whatever. Just treat the symptoms and keep him at home. Yeah. That's it. It's not rocket science. If he has a fever, you give meds. Yeah. I'm like, I get that all the time. Your kid's sick. Oh, does he have the flu? I don't know. I didn't get him tested. Why am I going to get him tested?
Like, his symptoms are like normal things. Like, he's just going to hang out at home and rest, and then he'll be back to school in 48 hours. Like,
do you care what he has?
Yeah, and it doesn't matter because the doctor's not going to do anything differently if he has, these various little kid bugs that they have. Like,
yeah, I don't think I could be a pediatrician.
Not
they
today.
Would come in and be like, my kid's sick, and I'd be like, okay. Is there anything you'd like me to do for him?
Yeah, like,
and then they always leave you with, give
like
him Tylenol and Motrin and alternate it. That's their go-to. And it's like,
both things I'm not doing, so we're fine.
Yeah.
It's just like, okay, and that's it.
Yeah.
I'm like,
what did I come here for?
I just wasted all my time.
Dragging my sick kid in here to the waiting room to have this. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. I tell them all the time, like, don't do it. Just keep them home. Yep. It's not rocket science, guys. We lived without all of this stuff before. Yeah. And we survived.
Oh, man. I can see your comments now. I'm so excited for you to focus.
We gotta piece together most controversial. No, I don't think yours was controversial. Yeah. Like, I don't think it was too controversial.
No, I don't think we're gonna get hate for it, because I think a lot of people would they could see that perspective.
I will say my most exciting thing right now this week is that I'm so happy that yesterday RFK Jr. was confirmed as the Secretary of Health and Human Services.
Yes.
And that I think a ton of people hate. And I don't care, because that man fought and cared what people thought about him for years prior to all of this. Before 2020, he has gone to bat for moms who just wanted someone to listen to them and someone to fight on their behalf. And he had the power to do it, and he did it. And he put aside his party line, so back to the black and white politics thing. And he said, you know what, I'm not going to get president, but if I can do what I wanted to do on someone else's administration, I'll do it. And if we can't agree on that, then that tells me the problem right there, because the man just wants to get some transparency, and I am here for it. That was a clap.
Me too. I'm one of those. I like him, so... Yeah.
So maybe that
and he is in the middle in the sense of, like, he's what a old school Democrat used to be. Yes. Like a conservative Democrat. Like, he's not the new, like, far left, or, and so I think at this point he does, obviously there's extremes on both sides that are annoying, of course. But I think he leans a little bit more conservative than compared to what the Democratic Party did before. So he's like, I'm happy to do it on your administration. Mm-hmm. And I'm happy because I'm here for it. Yeah. I'm here for him to just be like, rip all of the, like, just rip everything apart.
Yeah. We got 180 days and some good stuff's going to come out, and I am sipping my coffee and
whoop, whoop.
Drinking my electrolytes and ready for it.
I know. Now we have to all go. Did you already get your 75 soft in today?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah.
I overslept, so no.
That's okay. That's okay. No, mine is after this, before I go pick up the kids.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Let's go.
Oh, man. We all got to get our lives together now.
Got our, spiritual 75 soft. Our hearts were just...
Yes, we filled our cups with, fellowship here.
That's right. We got some good vibes going or whatever.
No, it was good. No, and Jackie's killing it in 75 soft.
Oh, no.
Like, you seriously, you just PR'd for yourself.
Oh, that's just because I'm ridiculous. I got yelled at by my chiropractor after that, by the way. I didn't share that. He was like, can you not do that again, please? Because you need to like make sure you're not like hunched over. And I was like, you weren't there. You don't know
Breaking
what I look
things.
like.
Yeah.
Down.
Maybe I had perfect form. Like, you don't even know.
proper form.
Like,
This could have been from 2 weeks ago. You don't know.
yeah.
No, you're doing great. And hopefully we all will be looking fantastic this summer.
We'll be feeling fantastic. If
Yes. Yeah. Because
I'm
these are
trying-
beautiful
most important.
habits that we should just have on the daily anyways. So it's just making
Jackie
us
and
better
I are-
human beings.
Yeah, Jackie and I are just going to like walk with our water for sure. Just water is all we're going to drink on our trip. We're just going to walk a lot, and that'll be our 75 soft. So
There's going to be a lot of walking. Yeah, for sure.
Lots of
So we'll
walking.
definitely get our steps in. That
Are
counts.
you, is that one of your things? No drinking.
No, I was just saying it to make you feel better about our trip.
to not like make the 75 soft go all into like the trash during the time that we're in Australia? Like,
Yeah, it's fine.
That's okay. I mean, you live it up. I mean, when's the next time you're going to go to Australia?
I mean,
know.
it might be sooner
Yeah,
than like
but
people like
for
you and I,
you-
Heather. Like,
Yeah.
But for you, like, you're going there for a wedding. Otherwise, you wouldn't be going. So it's kind of like you're not that you're
That's true.
forced
We're
to go
going
there,
for
but,
a
like,
celebration. Like,
Yeah,
so we're
like,
going to
you
eat the
just-
yummy food and have like some bubbly and stuff. So that's going to happen. It makes
That
sense.
works. Yeah.
I've been staying
Never
away from
for
alcohol.
wedding.
I don't know if I've had alcohol since like, did I drink alcohol at Christmas? No, right? Oh yeah, I did.
Yeah.
That was the last time I think I had alcohol.
It's pretty good.
So it's been since Christmas. So I'm doing decent.
for you.
I had remember the espresso martini with the Chobani creamer.
That's a festive holiday drink. Got to do the fun things.
No, Tony did good.
Balance, right? The moderation.
Yes, that's what it's all about. Moderation and balance. What makes you happy and what makes you healthy.
I know. I told Jackie though, I just don't think the moderation works for me. I just need to like cut it out completely. I told her like, yeah, like, okay, so you're like in a calorie deficit, say, 3 days, right? Say you're like at, I don't know, 900. And then you eat one bad meal, you literally just ruined it. Or you have to starve yourself for the rest of the day. You just ruin any progress you made. I'm like, I'm not at that point. Like, I need to lose weight. So like, we just all wish to be Jackie and just be able to go like, and go to the gym. And just eat. She's always like, I shouldn't be eating this. I'm like, yes, you can eat that. You're trying to gain muscle and like weight. You can eat it. Eat it,
I
girl.
know, but now I'm just going to be like the skinny fat person with diabetes.
No,
so
'cause
it's like,
you're
that
working
doesn't
out.
work.
No, you're working out. And your metabolism's fantastic, obviously. So,
We all have our things. It's okay.
I know. Well, anyways, thank you for joining us.
Yes, thank you,
I really
Jackie,
appreciate
for
it.
coming to chat with us. We appreciate it,
so
and it was fun. Yeah.
It was. Thanks for having me.
Well, as always,
Yes.
make sure you follow, rate our show. Rate our show, guys. It's not hard.
Or
All
if
you
you
have
just
to do is
like
go-
it and share it.
All you have to do is go
Yeah.
one tap.
5 stars.
But anyways, 5
Yeah.
stars, 5 stars. Only.
Nothing less than that. If you want to give us
stars
something,
only.
don't even bother. Keep
Don't
scrolling.
But anyways, as always, you can find us on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Podcasts.
Yes, we are on Amazon. Yes, we
We're
are.
on Amazon Podcasts. And we will chat next week.
Bye.
Bye.